Hello there, this is Nomi-Wan Plays, and welcome back to a new mini-series called Builders of Egypt. This is a early access game on Steam, and what we're going to be playing is the prologue campaign. This game will be released in the first quarter of this year. Pretty much what this game is about is if you've played Pharaoh, which was released in around about the 2000s, it's a city builder game. Obviously set in ancient Egypt. And this game is very much like that game. This game takes place in the valley of the Nile. The story starts in a little known proto-dynastic period in which you'll be able to observe the birth of the old Egypt and finished with the death of Cleopatra. I think is the seventh, Cleopatra the Seventh. The most important aspect is the skillful management of urban planning by shaping the grid of streets, placing buildings, and their mutual relation. Well-designed cities will greatly improve economic efficiency, which may convert into city income. Diplomacy and politics, and there is diplomacy and politics. The governor will face very difficult choices to be made in constantly changing political environment. Costly expeditions, Pharaoh and other cities request military threat, a mixture of different cultures will be a commonplace. A series of wrong choices can cost the loss of trading partners and low interest in the city by settlers. Moreover, the total lack of obedience to the rulers may end up with a civil war. So I feel, and that was just off Steam, a bit of information about the game. I feel that this game is like the next step up from Pharaoh. This is what Pharaoh could have been in the early 2000s. We've come a long way in technology. So, let's go on in to the campaign. We're going to... Oh, there looks like there's going to be a sandbox mode too, eventually. And by the way, this game is free to play for the demo. So yeah, just go on Steam if you want to play, if you enjoy this episode. Don't forget to hit that like button. So yeah, it's on Steam for free for the prologue story. A glorious capital for Kemet, Ineb Hedge. Okay, I'm going to muck up these Egyptian names. Apologies. Builders of Egypt prologue. Okay, wow. Wow. Okay, so we've got a few missions. I don't know if we all have access to these or if it's just in Ineb Hedge. I obviously haven't watched The Mummy enough to be able to pronounce these words. The ruler of Upper Egypt, King Namer, conquered Lower Egypt and united the kingdom on the Nile. Now the country needs a capital. King Aha, Namer's successor, sends you to Memphis in Nebhedj. Okay, it's Memphis. To supervise the construction of this magnificent city, a political, administrative, and religious center which will become home to the royal family. And thanks to its monumental will, strengthen its authority. So, win conditions. Okay, it looks like you'll be able to change the difficulty in the full game release. Remember this, there may be a few bugs. I'm not 100% sure, I haven't played this and tested it out. So it looks like in full release we will be able to change the difficulty. So we need to gather 12,500 loaves of bread, export 5,000 bricks, gather 2,500 pottery, and have 200 gatherers. That's the win conditions. Okay, let's get started. If you would like to read all this, by all means, pause the video and have a read. I don't know how much information there is on this, and I'm not going to read it all out, but I will let it scroll, because it looks like we can just hit start when ready. I don't know if this is actually just a little bit of information on Nefertiti, or if this is just like, like information on the game itself, like how in Pharaoh you'd have like the voice of, you will travel to blah blah blah, and you need to defeat such and such, and the, what's the word that I'm after? The voiceover guy. Okay, how much can I? Oh, okay, there's a lot. Okay, I'm gonna recommend you get this game and you read that for yourself. We're just gonna start. That does scroll. Ineb had a glorious capital. The ruler of Upper Egypt, King Nile. Okay, we have already read this, and that is our win. Okay, let's see what we have. There is no pause. There's a message tab. Okay, this short tutorial is intended for the early access version and will be expanded as the game develops. Here you will learn the basic rules of the game. Click on the right arrow to go further or press spacebar. Okay, let's just zoom out and just have a quick look. Okay, this is how close we can get. We can't really tilt it any further, but we can zoom out. And I have to say, this already looks like a step up from Pharaoh. Of course, like, there is, what are we, 2021 now? I'm pretty sure this game came out like 99, early 2000s. Like, it's been 20 odd years. But like, I feel like already, like, I'm already in Pharaoh, in the Pharaoh game, but just leveled up a little bit. Okay, let's get stuck into this. Okay, so we have a religion tab that we can access, economy, the current year, the current season, which, water, waves, summer? I don't know. We have a region map, we have a military map, the number of beers to be exchanged for labor. Consider it a currency. Okay. Bread is also to be considered a currency for work, the available workers, and the number of inhabitants. Okay, we have house fruit and I'm not going to click on these yet, but food production, sanitary, ware production, faith-related buildings, administrative buildings, authority buildings, buildings of cultural heritage, educational, military, and defense structures. So there's also fire station cover map, taxation collector cover map, ware production, fresh water, healthcare, and police station coverage. Main menu, and show building icons. Okay, let's hit next. In ancient Egypt, the idea of currency was unknown. The work was paid for with bread and beer. To simplify this mechanics, treat these resources as the cost of placing buildings and exchanging wares. You can find their icons in the top panel. You can get bread and beer mainly from trading and collecting taxes, but these are not a reliable source of income, so make sure you do not run out of them, because in such a situation you will not be able to further develop your settlement. Okay, this is definitely different, because I remember in Pharaoh there was actually, you set up gold mines, and there was coinage. Okay, the settlement development should start with designing a grid of streets. Select a road from the building list and place a street where you will be building your settlement. Remember that the first basic resource is water, so it's best to practice to build a settlement along the water, or along the river. Now remember, the Nile probably also has crocodiles. So I'm going to say we don't want it to be too close to the water at this point. Okay, so we've got 5,500 bread. And there's also a shortcut, T for roads. Well, I'm going to say... So I'm just holding down the left trigger and dragging. Let's go there. Oh, we have to build like 77. Oh, are they saying like... Build... Yes, they are. Where they've got these arrows is where they want us to build. Let's get them all downward. Okay, so we can do it that way as well. Okay, select a house from the building list and place it next to the road. Remember that all buildings must be built like this. If you leave the building off the road, it will not work and may collapse over time. So we go to houses. Houses is worth 15 and a shortcut of B. So I remember in Pharaoh that they actually allowed you to go 2 houses, and it used to be just like 1 square. So you could always go that far off from the road. Anything else wouldn't build. So yeah, they kind of have it set up like they did used to do in Pharaoh. The building place like this will encourage immigrants to settle in your city if it has sufficiently high levels of satisfaction, which, as you will notice in the later game, is not easy to achieve. The arrival of the first inhabitants is announced by a message in the bottom right corner. Whoop, here we go. Huzzah! Incoming dwellers! Dwellers are coming to the city! And then we can click on the magnifying and it will take us straight to it. Here they are, here are our people. Oh, we have pillars. Can we click on them? Oh, not yet. Okay, we can also use WASD, mouse wheel to scroll and tilt and zoom in and out. But you can also use the mouse to navigate your way. So there's multiple ways to play, which is good. Apparel. Coming to the city. No warnings, no warnings. He has great health. He is red, which he's probably not that wealthy. He likes the city. His home level is like at the very beginning. He has no education. And he feels safe. I guess that's what that means. Imhotep. Are you... Okay. Hi, Imhotep. Don't go killing any pharaohs. Let's just watch them going in. Obviously, once we get the full release of this game, we'll be able to speed up this area. So let's continue on. Remember that you can always demolish a building. Refund depends on the level of difficulty. Note that removing buildings at a later stage can be tricky, as you can shatter the delicate economic balance. Okay, let's just lower that. Let's practice demolition on this road because we don't need it here. Remove the highlighted section. How do we do that? Okay, so we go to the hammer tool. That is obviously the demolish. Huzzah! Your dwellers need to be protected against fires. Select a fire station from the building list and put it near your existing buildings. I would think that the first thing you'd want to do, can we rotate? Oh, okay. R is to rotate, which makes sense. So all these houses are back to front. Excellent. Okay, so remember you can rotate. Note that after clicking on the fire station range icon in the bottom right corner, a filter will appear, showing the coverage of the settlement with the range of the given buildings. This building protects other buildings from fire, but remember that the effectiveness of the protection reduces as the distance increases. It is a good idea to build a fire station at a relatively small distance from each other for better protection. Better coverage results in fewer fires and reduces the consequences of them. Okay. It is high time to look at the buildings you have constructed. Use the right mouse button to select house. The details of the building. Okay, that's the left button. I think the person writing this is like left-handed. Well, it would still be left. Details of the buildings will be displayed. If you look from top, you will notice the things listed below. Current warnings, the name of the building, level of the building, capacity of the house, and the number of available workers, risk of disasters, illness, crime, fire, disaster, the required resources to raise the level of the house, collected resources, and current access to buildings. So no risk of fire, disease, crime, or collapse. And it has access to well. Oh, need for upgrade is access to well. Okay. And it's a level 1 house. Note that each house has its own range, which determines the maximum distance to the building in which a dweller can work. In the case of a hard-to-reach workplace such as mines, it is worth considering building a worker camp, which is mostly a self-sufficient unit. In order to upgrade the house, the well should be placed in accordance with the requirements we have just observed. Build a well in the close range of the houses. This makes sense. Okay, so it actually has a ring. If we actually put it there, the house on the bottom left where it says 4 out of 5 of our little grid would be pretty much out. But if it was here, it would be perfect. Okay, let's build it there because that's what they want. The house will now be upgraded if it has been completely occupied, is by the road, and meets all the conditions. Oh, it upgraded. Must be that corner. If it's in that corner, they're fine. Remember that if there is something missing from the previous level in the next level of the house will be degraded to the previous level after a while. So, in other words, if we lost that well, I don't know how, but if we lost it and it was an upgraded house, then it would degrade. Makes sense. Each city needs an organized production for its growth, starting with the production of basic resources necessary for the upgrade of the houses. Build a clay pit in the available space, making sure that it is within range of the houses and there is a road in a nearby space. Manufacturing products may involve more than one building. Within the production chain, you will find information about the building by right-clicking on it. Not all resources and wares can be obtained by yourself. You'll often have to make a trade with other cities. Okay, so clay pit, rotating this. Also, you can hit the right mouse button and it will remove the what you have got selected. I think I like it this way. Okay, we got a left click. It has 8%. It's okay. I think this bar here, I think is the productivity of it at the moment. So they're 15% through making clay, I think. I'm not 100% sure. Oh, or is it being built? I'm not 100% sure. Let's just sit here and watch. The production of wares may require the construction of more than one building within the production chain. You'll find within the production chain, you'll find information about the building by right-clicking on it. Okay, we right-clicked on it. Natural resource, you get 2 lumps of clay, 50... Finished wares are collected by the employees of the stockpile and stored there, building the stockpile in close range to the production buildings in the same way as before. Okay, a stockpile of 120. Okay, so this is what it can hold. Wow, there is so much. And it can hold up to 4,800 units of products. Okay, so they made 1 out of 2, so they will make 2. Ooh, this person is going to go collect this clay. And he's only 21 years of age. So he's collected that 1. So each clay pit can hold up to 2 units. That's good to know. Then they'll bring it over here. Okay. To complete the typical production chain, build a brickmaker. The manufactured bricks are one of the most popular tradable wares in the game. Well, that makes sense. So we go to here. So clay pit and brick and pottery. So anything that the clay pit can supply to would be in this. Okay, let's place that there. Some production buildings require specific conditions or locations. Wells must be built by the river, quarries by the hills, and woodcutters require forests, which may be depleted if you devastate the entire woodland. That is good to know. I don't know if that actually happened in Pharaoh. I think if you placed it near it, it would just be. So this is something new. Oh, looks like we've had a change in season. Looks like we're probably in spring now. Remember that buildings within a single production chain must have been connected to the same road network in order to be able to supply each other with productions using the stocks. Roads are used mainly by the stockpile and granary workers, so keep roads connected if you want to transport wares in efficient ways. Well, they go from there to there, there to there. So that shouldn't be too difficult. The inhabitants need food to improve their houses. As before, we need to create another production. Looks like we can hit the P to bring up production. Each subsequent upgrade of the house has its own different requirements. You can check them in the house information card. So now they're wanting access to 1 type of food to upgrade. So this is when we go to the river. Build a fishing wharf to start fishing. Oh, interesting. So we're not starting off with grains. Interesting. The food production has to be stored in granaries, which is where it will be distributed further. Well, that makes sense. So we've got a bazaar, a granary, a stockpile, and fire station. So, granary. We're going to rotate that so the entrance is there. The food from the granary is distributed through bazaars. If the bazaar is supplied with the wares, the inhabitants will continue to deliver them to the houses. Let's rotate it that way. Excellent. The finished wares can be used to build a monument if the mission requires it, or can be traded away. To do this, you need to set up a trade route to do so. Click on the region map icon on the top bar. That's going to do for today, everybody. If you've enjoyed this episode, please remember to hit like, subscribe, and that bell icon to be notified of when I upload. Until then, have a safe day, and may the force be with you. Goodbye. See you again soon.